Road, and we are in. Boys, welcome back to the channel. Zero notes for today's video. We are gonna get straight into it. I'll be real honest, I don't like talking about supplements a huge amount because I think they're not necessary for the vast majority of people. I think people will always come to me and they'll want to be like, what do you do? What do I do? And I'm always happy to tell people. I'm not going to keep it a secret, but the vast majority of people, they don't necessarily need the supplements. They need to get started. They need to take those first steps. And supplements are more for once you're sort of 1 month to 3 months into your sort of fitness journey. And maybe you already are, maybe you're way ahead of that, and that's great. And then this subject is relevant to you. But for the vast majority of people who aren't going to the gym regularly, they aren't doing anything for their nutrition, they're not on top of their sleep or anything like that, supplements is the last thing you need to be worrying about. But unfortunately, at the same time, supplements is a popular topic here on YouTube and on podcasts. So like everybody else, I am a slave to the algorithm. So let's get into it. So my favorite supplement is creatine. Creatine is fantastic. Now, before you click off though and think, oh, I thought he was going to tell us about some new supplement that's come out and it's going to change my life. Well, let me tell you this. The chances are you're probably not taking creatine right. So that's what we're going to break down today in this very short, informative, fact-finding video. So just to give you a little bit of background, I've been a personal trainer for 5 years and a qualified or certified nutritionist. I went through a very extensive nutrition qualification over the course of a year. It was 6 exams and it's entirely evidence-based. So what this means is we actually look at science-backed studies, and not just any science-backed studies, because even within the science, there's lots of different levels of science. There are science studies that are funded by certain industries to promote their own industry. So you've got to be quite careful when you're looking at these studies that you're looking at the right studies. But it's important to recognize that creatine is one of the most researched, it's been around the longest, easily available, cheapest supplement. I don't think there's much of an agenda around creatine. I don't think there's, I buy into a lot of the sort of what people would call conspiracies. I buy into a lot of them. I think there's a lot of nefarious activity going on. I mean, just the fact that the FDA is a thing, the Food and Drug Administration, food and drugs are two separate things. Why is one, what do we call them, organization, administering both? That doesn't feel right. And also, if you look at who funds the FDA, it's pretty dark. You'll find that a lot of it is funded by the pharmaceutical industry. So they're effectively propagating their own agenda, their own narrative. They're funding the agency or the organization. I don't know what they are. Well, Food and Drug Administration, the administration, I guess. It's not really a thing, is it though? Who are deciding whether or not their drugs should become legal, right? But when it comes to creatine, it's been around for so long and it has been proven so many times by so many different groups that we have what we call meta-analysis studies. So meta-analysis studies are where a group of researchers, scientists, who, they could be acting nefariously, but again, I can't really see the point. I can't really see the agenda of why they'd be doing it on creatine, because they're not pushing it. They'll get together and they'll find all of the best studies that have been done on something. So in this case, creatine. And they will look at the findings of all of those studies. And by the way, as part of the process, before they start looking at the findings of those studies, they will remove a lot of the studies from their study, from their meta-analysis. They'll disqualify them effectively. And this could be on the grounds that they were, done in the wrong way, or they were funded in a nefarious way. So they're weeding out the crap, basically. And this will leave them with a set amount of studies, and then they look at the collective findings of those studies and publish them. And time again, creatine has been found to have enormous benefits from an energy perspective, from a work capacity perspective. And then as a result of that, if you think about it, creatine as a supplement really is an enabler. It enables you to do more. It's no good taking creatine and not doing anything. You have to take the creatine and then go and do things. You have to go and push yourself harder. What creatine really enables you to do is it increases your work capacity in the gym. So it gives you that ability to push a little bit harder, to squeeze out that extra rep, to achieve that progressive overload. It's also been proven time and time again to improve cognitive function, to improve focus, to improve synapses in your brain connecting and enable you to work longer and harder, and basically just makes you smarter. So to me, it's a win-win. And the fact that it's so well researched, by the way, someone welcome to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's more research than caffeine, right? But I talk about creatine because there's a lot of nuanced science, I suppose. It's not even science, but let's just call it science, around people saying you should cycle your creatine and it's bad for your kidneys. And I'm here to tell you that that is just absolute BS. And you're more than welcome to research this yourself. If you want to, I would recommend you go to a website called Examine, EXAMINE.com. And there you will be able to find all of the best research on pretty much anything. It's a very good website. I strongly recommend you check it out. And do your own research on this stuff. You know, I'm not one to sit here and prescribe supplements to people, but if I had my way, if I was king of the world, I would put creatine in the water supply. It is that powerful. And it's, by the way, it's not just for men. There's a lot of women who are put off creatine because of the sort of marketing association with it around building muscle. I think a lot of women, if you ask them, they'd probably see creatine as like a steroid. And it's, you know, it couldn't be further from the truth. Pretty much every single athlete in the world is on steroid. It's completely allowed and legal and all this sort of stuff. But I said at the beginning that a lot of people might be taking creatine, they might be aware of all these things, they might be sold on the benefits, but they might not be taking it the right way. And I know this from working with hundreds of clients all around the world, mostly men, that a lot of men think that they only need to take creatine. Well, either they need to cycle it, so they should be taking it for like a month and then a month off, which you don't want to do, or they think they should only be taking it as like a pre-workout. Creatine is not a pre-workout. It's very different. Pre-workout tends to be something that has amino acids in it or that contains a stimulant like caffeine or something like that. It has neither of those. So with creatine, you want to be taking it every single day, no breaks, no cycles, and ideally you want to be taking it at the same time every day. So what I recommend to people is they take it first thing in the morning so that it's just almost becomes a ritual as part of your morning routine. You really don't need to overthink this. Take creatine every single day, 5 grams per day, and aim for creatine monohydrate. Because you'll see what's basically happened is creatine has become so widely available, it's very cheap. So now companies are thinking, right, how can we upsell this? How can we get more bang for our buck? How can we make more margin, right? So they're spending all this money marketing these products. You'll notice that they never market creatine. The reason they never market creatine is because there's no margin in it. The price has been driven to a point where I would imagine, I don't have inside information on this, but I expect they don't make very much profit on creatine. It could even be a loss leader for them where they're actually making a loss, but they make a huge profit elsewhere. Where these supplement companies make their profit is on the new stuff, because people like the new shiny stuff. And then it's very easy to market it. And then what they can do is they can market it as this revolutionary new supplement that's going to massively do X, Y, or Z. They can charge whatever they want for it, basically. They can stick a picture of a guy who's absolutely ripped with a big smile on his face with a hot girl on his arm, probably like a Lambo in the background or something, and people will buy it. It's aspirational, right? No one's doing that with creatine, which is why I don't buy into the narrative that it's being pushed by the elites and it's gonna kill us. Or I've been taking creatine for 15 years and I've certainly never felt any side effects. I've had my blood taken multiple times and it's pretty much always been shown to be near enough optimal. I would argue that creatine is an enabler, and I'd recommend that pretty much every single person invest in it, because in my experience, in my opinion, it is a good, solid investment that will help you in and out of the gym. So just to cover this up, I'm gonna wrap this up in less than 10 minutes, which is awesome. Creatine monohydrate, 5 grams every single day for men and women, first thing in the morning. Take my word for it, give it a go. It's super cheap. I would buy it from a reputable supplement company. I'm not gonna name any because I'm not affiliated to any, and I don't want anybody to think I am. But I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you tomorrow.